How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Paulo Andrez, which is a serial entrepreneur and angel investor and the best-selling author of Zero Risk Startup, which is published by Forbes Books. So, Paulo, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend to tech entrepreneurs out there to achieve the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Thank you very much, Harry, for inviting me to your podcast. I think the first thing that entrepreneurs, if they want to achieve the first million, is not to think about the first million, but focus on the clients and who are they serving, and if they find someone or people that are willing to buy their product and not to become rich.
So then the step number one would be to think about the client, put the client first, right?
Yeah, try to solve a problem that are clients willing to pay for, because you can solve a lot of problems, but the clients are not willing to pay for. So this will not make your first million. So try to identify problems in the market, and that there are clients willing to pay for solving those problems. And that is where I suggest the entrepreneurs to focus on, and not so much on Excel and how to make 1 million. Because in Excel, it's very easy to massage the Excel and make the numbers flourish and make 1 million in paper. But in reality, potentially everyone will be millionaire, the entrepreneurs that are trying to fundraise. But in reality, the large majority of them will not even start their company. So I think the focus should be trying to find a problem and find some clients willing to pay for that problem.
Yeah, and in that process, so then the step number two should be um, related to build the community, right? Because a lot of tech startup, yeah, you have a problem, and you think, but in order to go in front of these people, they had to focus in build the community, right? Because how they gonna find the people? How they gonna find the people that they want the product?
Yeah, that's one of the issues. I'm a IT engineer, so I know what is the problem. So a lot of us engineers think that because we can have a fantastic product, we can have the best product in the world, we can have the best team, IT team in the world, but if there are no clients willing to pay for our product, then the company is valued zero. So one of the things that entrepreneurs need to focus on, and you are mentioning tech entrepreneurs, is to understand if they have the right team to execute the project, because they can have fantastic IT team, but in any company you need 3 functions. One is to build the product or the service. Another one is to manage the company in terms of accounting, legals, etc. And of course, the third one is sales. And where a lot of tech entrepreneurs are not good is on sales. I've seen a lot of good entrepreneurs with very skilled, but not understanding that they need also to have skills in terms of sales. And they think that the product is so great that the clients will just come. It's not that. The clients, there are several techniques that you need to know, and you cannot be shy to talk to these potential clients. And that's why I suggest in many cases that entrepreneurs bring people from marketing and sales areas, and not so much tech, and also people that have also some financial knowledge. One of the risks that exist is the team risk, and is one of the most difficult risks to mitigate. And one way is, of course, to bring co-founders with different skill set that the entrepreneurs have, the founders. But in case the entrepreneur doesn't want to have more co-founders, then the entrepreneur may try to bring on the team as employee other people that they can fulfill those skills.
Yeah, and yeah, Paolo. Then I think that the other step that we might consider, and is exactly what you described, is that when we have these teams in the tech entrepreneurs, they are very good at product development. They love the tech. However, in that process, they forgot there is an MVP, minimum viable product. Somehow the M get disappear out of the equation, and now it's not an MVP. Now we have all these engineers taking all the money they have, all the resources, remortgaging the house to write this code, to write this software, this engine that will make the world a better place. There will be a disruption, and then let's patent this software because it's gonna change the world. And then all these tech team, which are, they are also software developers, and they are passionate about the problem that they are solving and everything, but all the resources goes there, and then you have a team full of developers using a lot of resources and investing a lot of their own money creating this piece of software, this piece of engine. And then the problem comes that it's not an MVP anymore. It's a giant engine, and we don't know if the market really want this in this form. We don't even know what the market want to buy out of this. They want it as a product, they want it as a service. But anyway, all the resources are gone because now they are exhausted. And when they come and they want to bring someone from marketing and sales to help them out, you find out that there are no resources, and also whoever is owning the maximum amount of shares of the company and the decision making is on the hands of someone that are very good software developers. They're amazing writing code, but they don't understand at the full extent how the dynamic work. And you will listen responses like, well, they need to buy like that. If they wanted something else, we're not gonna write this code like this because this is expensive, and now we don't have any more money because everything is started, everything is finished. So if they don't want it like that, uh, we need to find another client that want the thing exactly how we develop, and this is a, a big challenge. And they have the misconception also that, oh, you know what, I will pay 5% commission, and you guys sales and marketing, we pay you very little money, and you bring me the leads, and you bring me the people to my mouth to buy whatever I decided, because we are the big deal here. We are the geniuses here. We deliver. We created this amazing software. So everybody. So it's very very common. This, Paulo. I see it all the time, again and again. Correct?
Yeah, you are 100% correct. And that's one of the problems of tech entrepreneurs. Many tech entrepreneurs, not all tech entrepreneurs, is that they focus on developing the product. And when you develop more, and then you want to develop more, then you find new areas. Oh, this is amazing. The competition has done this. We need to do more development. And the development never stops. And
it's expensive, Paulo, eh?
And it's expensive. And I feel in many of the cases, this is their comfort zone. So they are afraid to face the market. So they try to convince themselves that they are doing something great, because they are not exposed to the real market. And one of the most challenged conversations I have with entrepreneurs that ask my support or my investment is to tell them that they should not develop software. They should try to find software as a service in websites like capterra.com and other websites, and try to find clients. I give you an example, and I give this example in the book. There was one entrepreneur that had a product and needed to calculate commissions referrals. So people that give referrals to the clients, and the entrepreneur wanted to spend $20,000 developing a software to calculate that, and this would take 4 months. I told the entrepreneur, look, in the beginning, how many clients are you going to have? 10, 15 per day. Look, don't worry. Just tell them that you update this bonus every week. In the end of every week, in the end of the week, how much time, if you hire someone, will take? And the person said 1 hour. Okay, so in the beginning, just do it manually. It's don't spend money developing software. And sometimes we have tech entrepreneurs, but the biggest even problem is when you have non-tech entrepreneurs hiring IT companies, tech people. That is usually a mess, because the entrepreneurs, they don't understand the tech part, and the tech people don't understand the business, and they are developing just software. So that's what I suggest people is try to do, as you mentioned, a MVP. And in some cases, you don't need tech, you just need manual work, and until you have a lot of clients. When you have a lot of clients, then you can buy all the systems in the planet.
Paolo, look, this is the statistic that I have here in this very same podcast on Unstoppable, 5 Steps How to Make Your First Million. 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 entrepreneurs that come to this podcast, they are tech entrepreneurs, right? So people might think that become a millionaire in tech is easy. We don't want to send this message. We don't say that it's difficult, but we only hear the stories here in this podcast of the people that have become successful. We never hear the story about every people that failed. So we want to raise the awareness now. But this is what I find out. Number one, most of the tech entrepreneurs that come to this broadcast, that they are millionaires and they have some of them more than one exit. Most of them, they are from sales and marketing background. They find a problem that the market is out there, and when they identify the problem and they're sure that somebody will pay for it, then they will hire a development team to do the product. These are the people that they're seeing in tech right now. But the other thing, Paulo, is we have the other part, people like you that come to this podcast. They are software developers, they are great engineers, but they come to this podcast and they spend the whole time talking about sales, marketing, product market fit, how we're going to find the first lead. So you see, you're developers, programmers, but you guys not talking about, software. You're not talking about how to make your product, making software better. You don't talk about that. All the engineers that come here, that they're successful, again, they keep talking about sales, marketing, solving a product, get the product market fit. When I started to help tech companies at the beginning, Paulo, this is what they told me. Harry, you don't understand. Tech is different. Tech is not a traditional business. Tech is different. The more I see tech, the more it's similar to a traditional business. If you don't sell it, you don't make a profit, you have nothing. It doesn't matter if you are developing whatever you're developing, you have nothing. And so, Paolo, and it's exactly like you described it. The software developers getting into the comfort zone, yeah, and they keep developing and developing. Maybe could be out there also a false vision, because you see these Google people, they are tech people, or I don't know, you name me, Mark Zuckerberg. So they are tech people, and so the tech entrepreneur can see like, wow, you see, if I'm a genius producing software, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna be a millionaire very quickly. But these people,
In paper, a lot of them are in paper millionaires, because
yeah,
they sold, if you sell, let's say, 0.01% of shares of your company for
yeah,
$100,000,
yeah,
then you are a unicorn, because in
yeah.
terms of the valuation, you are a unicorn. So
Yeah, but again, that those entrepreneurs, regarding that they are tech geniuses, they have put a lot of effort and time and energy in sales, marketing, product market fit, understand, develop something exactly like you said at the beginning of this broadcast, having your mind in the client, knowing the millions that we're gonna make and how much money you're gonna make. Because before, Paolo, it used to be a time that you write a piece of paper to a VC, to an angel investor like you, and with one idea, and people were throwing like a million to the tech entrepreneurs just for a piece of paper and idea, and those times are gone. It doesn't work like this anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're the president of the Angel Investor Association in the in Europe. So you tell me what what because I have a lot of people telling me also that I can Harry, now it's very difficult. They want traction, they want sales, they want this, they want that. They're asking so many things in order to give us funding. And I'm telling them, look, they're not asking so many things. This is a basic thing that they should have to give you the money. So tell us, Paolo, from the investor side. So what is the key elements that you look in a founder or in a startup company that will incline you that, okay, I should get back to this team, to these people. They are building something, they understand the dynamic of business. So I can be a contribution for them. So what are the key signs that you looking in a startup founders in order to invest, so the founders listening to us can understand how this process really works and what the VCs or the angel investor are actually looking for in a company?
I mean, it's for me, it's very easy. It's not about the idea. We can have anyone can have the best idea in the world without any execution. The project is worth zero. So a lot of entrepreneurs feel that they have a great idea and the idea will save them and it will be a huge success. No, it's about the execution. So what I feel that's very important for an entrepreneur when the entrepreneur approaches me to invest in their project is to understand how is going to be the execution and if they have mitigated the risks. One thing is they say, oh, we are going to conquer 0.5% of the market or 5% of this market. This is one way to do. Another way is to say, look, we contacted 100 clients. From these 100 clients, we got 40 that were interested in the product. We sent the samples for the 40 clients. 30 came back and saying that they are willing to purchase the product. This is something completely different than, oh, we will conquer 5% of the market. In terms of any project, there are basically 5 risks, and I talk about this in the book. It's the market risk, the entrepreneur team risk, the financial risk, the legal risk, and the operational risk. So this what I call the math flow. So these 5 risks, if the entrepreneur wants to fundraise money from investors, they should try to mitigate those 5 risks and explain to the investors how are they going to make this happen based on those 5 risks. And if the entrepreneur is able to mitigate those risks, the willingness of investors to invest increases. There is very important study that was done in Europe where there were surveyed more than 600 angel investors, and they were asked why they didn't invest in some of the deals. And the first reason is 87% was not that the project didn't have potential. It's about risk, execution risk. So the investors didn't invest because they found that there was a lot of risk in the execution. And then only 7% of the project, only 7% didn't have enough potential. So basically, what the investors are saying is, in paper, if someone says, okay, this is going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, we guarantee that it happens, then the investors would invest basically more than 90% of the deals. But the problem is that they feel a lot of risk in the execution, and the entrepreneurs need to mitigate those risks. They were asked one last question to the investors. that survey, if the risks of the project are mitigated, your willingness to invest increases or not. And 96% of the investors said, yes, my willingness to invest increases accordingly to the decrease of risk in the project. So instead of focusing on me as an entrepreneur, I need this, I need that, whatever, focus on the investor and says, okay, if you invest, how are you going to earn from this? And how am I going to mitigate the risk for you, investor?
Yeah, and that's a great answer, Paulo. And the next question, Paolo, is regarding when you started, because you are talking based on your own experience. However, when you guys started your own company, you all of you were geeks, all of you are tech people. So when do you realize that, oh my God, I need to learn things that I don't like to do? Like selling, meeting people, talk to strangers. You guys are very comfortable in front of your computer writing code, and now you need to go out and talk to strangers and sell your product. And so when you guys realize that that is this become a tech entrepreneur is gonna be way more uncomfortable than you thought. And if you want to succeed, you need to go out there and speak with a stranger, which is something that all of you hate. I mean, you used to hate, because look at you, how comfortable you're speaking with me in camera now, and you have your book and everything. Now you're very happy to be in front of strangers and talking to strangers. But the Paolo at the beginning was like this, or it needs to happen a transformation in that Paolo in order to achieve success.
Look, I need to confess something to you. I never program one line of code. so,
Very good.
before, I think you are talking about the Nova Buzz, which I was one of the members of the core of the company when we did the IPO. So, but before that, I started being an entrepreneur when I started entering in university, and I started selling products from Portugal
Wow.
to UK. Nothing tech, just sales. So, and then when I in the second year of my university, I realized that companies needed a lot of IT training. So I had my colleagues that were studying with me that were
Mhm.
cheap labor, very skilled labor, and so I started organizing IT training for companies, and I was
Wow.
hiring my friends. So nothing program, and then after some years, I created also a company to provide IT engineers to banks, to insurance companies, etc. And then this company, together with other three companies, we came together and we went to do the IPO of Novabus. So my background, in reality, I have never programmed one line of code. I was always on the sales side, always
There you go. You see,
on the business side. But I had, of course, colleagues and friends and
colleagues.
partners that were real tech, and they just think about tech. You could not talk about anything else except tech. And I was able to communicate with them because I understand their language, I understand where they come from, but my world was always sales, always talking with clients, and so I was good in merging these two worlds. And today I invest in entrepreneurs and tech entrepreneurs, and I am able to understand their mindset and explain them my experience as well. And I think many of them understand, and they bring co-founders, they hire interim COOs, etc.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen to an entrepreneur that comes to you with a great idea, is very skilled, is to tell him that he's not a good CEO. That is very hard because he wants to be a CEO. And then you tell the entrepreneur, look, I don't think you are a good CEO because of these. You should be a chairman, or you should be CTO or other role. And that is something that is very difficult to tell to an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But the thing is that if they do in tech, if you don't, if it's already difficult as it is, Paolo. So in order to have a chance, you have to have the right structure in place in order for this to work. And it's so another question that I have, Paolo. Okay, if I give you $100 for a new tech company, out of this $100, how much money would you take to invest in marketing and sales and building the community? And how much money you will invest out of this $100 in creating the product?
Zero. Creating the product.
Oh my
hundred
God.
dollars $100. If you have $100, probably it's going to be, you're not going to do much, but probably you can buy some software to connect with the potential clients and talk with friends. But so I think that the most important thing is try to validate the product. And entrepreneurs need to learn how to approach clients. So the one of the things, the tips that I tell entrepreneurs is, look, you need to find very important client that can give you the can give you the credibility of your product. So for these big clients, why don't you start saying, okay, I I charge you $1 for 1 year for all the products. So money is not a problem. Don't charge zero, because if you charge zero, you cannot claim that they are your clients, okay? Because they didn't pay anything. So you need to invoice them for something. So once you get this big client, because they pay $1, whatever, then you can claim that you've got this client, and then the others will say, oh, if they've got this client, is
Wow,
because
it's
the
a
product
great,
is good.
great strategy. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and then you start getting other clients coming in, and that's one of the things that I've told a lot of entrepreneurs to do. And in some cases, you can do also exchange of goods. So sometimes you can have a product or service, and the client doesn't have the money, the budget, but they have products. For instance, imagine cars, they sell cars. Hey, how about I provide you the service, and in exchange, you give me one car, for instance. So they benefit because they sell their product, and you have a client, and then you can sell the car in the market.
And then you
So
continue said, okay, this is my client. I think, Paulo, this is a great strategy, and it comes from the traditional business, and it's very old. This it is called buying the client at the loss. You see, when the most effective way,
bartering, yeah.
yeah, the most effective way to attract clients is to buy them at the loss. And but again, this client on the first year, maybe you're paying $1, but when you said to a second year to that client, look, guys, we need to review this, or we cannot give you this we cannot give you the other year for $1 because it doesn't work for us or whatever. That client gonna say, wait, hold on, how much you want? How much you want? Because I'm so happy with your product, with your service. We already tested, we already get you guys are brilliant. So how much you want us to pay us? We want to keep working with you another year. So it's a very easy barrier to entry, so the client can experience, right?
Another tip I provide in the book,
I think this tip is very powerful. I love
yeah,
it.
and on zero risk startup, is about suppliers, using the power of the suppliers. And if you have a supplier trying to sell you something to the startup, then the startup can say to them, look, your product is okay, but the price is not good, but we have one competitor that is bringing clients to us. Can you bring 3 clients to us, or can you bring your organization as a client? And if you bring these three clients or this amount of sales, then we can buy from you. I give you an example. One of my companies that I've invested, they needed to buy a machine that was costing $1 million,
Wow.
and I $1 million, and I told them, and they had 3 suppliers. And I told them, please don't choose the supplier yet. Let me see the supplier. So I saw the suppliers, and one of the suppliers was part of a big group that could become client of this company. So I told the entrepreneurs, hey, tell the supplier that if he brings his group, the other company in the group, as a client of your company, of our
We buy his
company,
machine.
we buy his machine. You cannot imagine the salesperson got crazy and was getting the order. So we got the order, a
Wow.
huge order
Really? Wow.
from this
That's
supplier,
spectacular.
because yeah, because the salespeople want to sell and they will do everything to sell
Whatever
to
it
you.
takes. What do you
Yeah,
need?
so try to think about the suppliers. Of course, if your supplier is a huge company, probably you will not do, but probably the salesperson will
Can
do
make it
because
happen. Exactly.
yeah, it make
The
it happen.
salesperson can make it happen. He will knock the door and say to everybody, look, because in these big companies, again, sales and marketing
They have
people are
contacts.
listen. No,
Yeah,
they are work on it. They are listening all the time because they drive in. They think, and so I say there is a barrier always between in these companies, between the software development team and the sales and marketing team. It's like two different words. It's like there are people in this interview have shared with me that it's like a line, so don't software people don't talk, don't tell us what to do in terms of sales and marketing, and but then it doesn't work the other way because sales and marketing have to tell them to the software developer what to do, and then you hear in these startups all the time, well, you don't need to tell me what to do, I'm the genius here, and
yeah,
and it doesn't work, and also another problem that we have in the industry is that a lot of tech um, engineers, software engineers, they coming from corporate. They get paid a lot of money, and they maybe on the side with that money they start to develop their own product. But then now they have their own tech company, and you will listen to them to say, "Okay, sales and marketing, this is not my job." And telling them, "Look, you're not in corporate anymore. Everything is your job. What are you talking about? You have to sell it. The same. You have to be supporting." The same thing on the marketing thing. You how you come you're gonna say this is not your job, this is not corporate anymore, this is your business, everything is your job. So the other problem that we have, Paulo, is that entrepreneurs or tech entrepreneurs coming from corporate to the startup world, they they facing a lot of challenges regarding that, right?
yeah. That's one of the issues. It depends on the age. It depends on the entrepreneurial mindset of the person. But people that migrate from corporate world to the startup world, they have an advantage. They have experience and they also have networking. And this is very,
Important.
very important because if they have networking that can buy the product or the service, then they can receive money and they can do a lot of mistakes and still they are successful. And that's one of the key advantage. Of course, many of them are used to huge structures, and when they come to a startup, they need to do everything and they are not used.
Mhm.
I remember one guy that
Mhm.
was he didn't know how to schedule a meeting, and because in his corporate company the
Somebody does
secretary
it.
was doing everything, and the person had some difficulties in adapting to that. But of course, when you invite a co-founder from a corporate world, you need to identify what are the problems and if the person is fit to start becoming an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah. Last question, Paolo, is some of the tech entrepreneurs that have been in this podcast. I asked them if you had to start all over again, what would you do differently? And the answer is most of the time culture. They're telling me, Harry, if I knew that's gonna be 100 times harder than what I thought, and it's gonna be is as difficult, I will pay a lot of more attention to culture. I will pay more attention to bringing everybody together, bringing that team, which is sales and marketing, along with the tech engineers, and try to do the possible to align everybody in one unique vision, and everybody try to communicate rather than that this friction that usually happen in the tech space when you bring marketing and sales people literally tell them to the tech geniuses what to do, but this is how this is the only way that this is going to work. and it's hard to elaborate that. However, if you pay attention to culture, you pay attention to the people you bring in the organization. If you this process will be more smooth. So in your opinion, Paolo, is it really important at the beginning the startup or and during the path to go from 0 to 1, get the product market fit? Um, how much founders and startup founders should be paying attention to culture?
I think the challenge for many of these founders is not in the beginning, because in the beginning they are a small group. They can work together. They can
And you
go
and
to
do and
games.
everybody do whatever it takes, right? Everybody.
Yeah, and there is no money for culture things, but the culture is created because they go to drink beer in the end of the day. The problem starts when the group starts
Growth.
increasing, grow, yeah, and there is 100, 200 people, 1,000 people, or 2,000
Yeah,
people.
because you cannot ask them to go and drink beer, and you cannot ask them to work 24/7. These people need to
Yeah,
sleep. They need to go out in the weekend, right?
and communication is very, very important. To
And
have
leadership.
alignment of interests is also very important. So stock options, employee stock options are important in these things. What I would suggest is, if the CEO and the founder does not have the skills to communicate with the people, to create teams, he should have a founder, co-founder, that could take care of that and try to bring everyone together. And the CEO is more for the sales, more getting clients, and not so internal. But that is one of the biggest challenge. But I think if the entrepreneurs start thinking about culture in the beginning, spending money in a lot of events, then the money doesn't go for getting clients, and they should try to find first clients, and then they can think about more culture in terms of investing money on that area, because in the beginning they don't have money to invest in terms of creating a lot of culture, a lot of software, etc.
Thank you so much. So, tell us a little bit more about your book, Paolo. Where people can buy this book? What is in this book? How this book can help to the
So
startup founders out there?
Zero Risk Startup is a book aimed for wannabe entrepreneurs that or aspiring entrepreneurs that they have an idea, or they would like to start being an entrepreneur, but they are afraid because they don't have the money, because they don't want to quit the job, or because they don't have a business idea. So this book is intended to demystify these problems, and try to solve all these risks that entrepreneurs see. And also for existing entrepreneurs that they want to grow, but they are afraid of losing everything they have, because they have launched the company. The company is quite successful, but giving a huge step may bring them problems. So the book gives more than 100 tips in order to identify and mitigate risks. People can buy the book in, if you are in US, they can buy in Barnes and Noble or in Amazon, or globally Amazon websites. They can sell the book. There are a lot of bookstores that also sell the book, but we don't have now time for me to list all of the bookstores around the world. The book is already in Portuguese, so by Bertrand, and it's being finishing the translation to Chinese and Croatian as well. So we will have now the book in different language as well.
Thank you so much, Paolo. This to coming to the broadcast. I really, really appreciate, and I think that this conversation could be the tech founders can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That in the end of the day, is possible for you to become successful in the tech space. Definitely, you can become really wealthy. However, there are certain rules that apply to this market, and it's all involved with how much do you want to embrace you going out there, talking about your product, building the community, marketing, sales, understanding that the driving force of your business, um, that the priority basically is not the piece of tech that you develop, that the priority is actually what the customers want to buy and in what form, and be listening constantly what the clients want, because out of these over 500 entrepreneurs that I interview in this broadcast, Paolo, either tech entrepreneurs and not tech entrepreneurs, there is something that is common for everybody. No one never had come yet to tell me, Harry, you see, the first product that I designed, people bought it like that. No one no one had come yet to telling me this. Yeah, everybody tell me, oh, Harry, I designed this, and then we need to reiterate and reiterate and reiterate. So I'm still waiting for someone to come to here to tell me, oh, I became millionaire really easy, Harry, I designed this product like this, and everybody bought it. Hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean?
And
So
everyone, all the big companies have failed in a lot of products. So the problem
absolutely.
is not failing. The problem is that if the entrepreneur doesn't fail fast and doesn't fail cheap. So failing fast and cheap is not a problem, and it's good because you
You
learn. So
develop the skill. Yeah.
yeah, focus on client, fail fast and
And
cheap,
cheap.
and that's cheap.
I love it.
Cheap is, it's very very important to fail cheap, because if you fail cheap, there is not big risk. So and you can fail many times until you find the product.
Yeah,
And failing cheap is a skill that entrepreneurs
absolutely.
need to learn how to do.
I agree 100% because at the end of the day, Paolo, to become a good tech entrepreneur, you have to develop the skill. It's available for everybody, but it's a skill base. What it means, the more you practice, the better you become. It's like driving a car or swim.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many books you read. If you don't practice, if you don't develop the skill, or become a tech entrepreneur, an effective tech entrepreneur, is a skill base. So good news, everybody can become successful in tech as an entrepreneur, regardless that you're a software developer or not. You have to be able to develop the skill. To develop the skill is key, what just Paolo described. You fail fast and cheap, and that failure and failure and failure is you practicing, and the more you practice, the better you become, and eventually now you develop the skill and you can drive the company forward and become successful. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast.
Have been a
And
pleasure.
yeah,
Have been a
and
pleasure. I actually learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned, oh my god, this tip about the client for $1 is amazing. I love it. Yeah, I definitely would share this with some tech company that time to time they're asking me, Harry, I'm stuck. Help me out. So this tip is fantastic. So thank you so much, Paolo, and for all of you following this broadcast. See you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneur like Paolo break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
thank you. Bye.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.